From the PEP Radio Newsroom, these are the stories we are following at this hour. In her 28 years of working for the federal government, Shea Giagnorio provided daycare for the children of U.S. soldiers, training for employees, and oversight for safety net programs. Public service took her from Germany to Alaska to Kansas City, Missouri, where she moved last year for a long-sought promotion. But when she reported to a downtown federal building for work one day last month, her access card did not work. After a coworker led her into the building, she checked her email. Her entire office had been let go in the latest mass firing ordered by President Donald Trump's administration. The 46-year-old single mom has canceled her apartment lease, is selling her new furniture, and may have to pull her daughter out of college. She wonders what will happen to the at-risk populations her team helped serve at the Administration for Children and Families, a part of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Not only me, but all these people's lives are turned upside down, Giagnorio said. The impact of the cuts by Trump appointees and Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency can be found everywhere in the Kansas City metropolitan area, which has long been a major hub for federal agencies about 1,000 miles away from Washington, D.C. Money once promised to the region for public health, environmental, diversity, food aid, and an array of other programs has been axed, and thousands of local jobs are in jeopardy. With nearly 30,000 workers, the federal government is the largest employer in the region. One longtime Kansas City economic researcher said he believes the region could lose 6,000 good-paying federal jobs, which in turn would wipe out thousands of others in service industries. An IRS worker said thousands of her co-workers fear they will lose their jobs even as they put in overtime, processing tax refunds in a building so crowded that they struggle to find desks. Under pressure, hundreds more agreed this week to retire early or take a buyout. Trump has credited DOJ with helping end the flagrant waste of taxpayer dollars, saving billions to help improve the nation's finances. Hey, the White House didn't respond to questions about Kansas City, but Trump did say recently he would invite the Kansas City Chiefs to the White House to make up for a 2020 Super Bowl victory celebration that was canceled during the pandemic, which he exacerbated. In other news, opponents of President Donald Trump's administration took to the streets of communities large and small across the country on Saturday, decrying what they see as threats to the nation's democratic ideals. The disparate events ranged from a march through midtown Manhattan and a rally in front of the White House to a demonstration at a Massachusetts commemoration of the shot heard round the world on April 19th, 1775, marking the start of the Revolutionary War 250 years ago. Thomas Basford was among the demonstrators at the reenactment of the battles of Lexington and Concord outside Boston. The 80-year-old retired Mason from Maine said he believes Americans are under attack from their own government and need to stand up against it. This is a very perilous time in America for liberty, said Basford, who was with his partner, daughter, and 2 grandsons. I wanted the boys to learn about the origins of this country and that sometimes we have to fight for freedom. In Denver, hundreds of protesters gathered at the Colorado state capitol with banners expressing solidarity with immigrants and telling the Trump administration, hands off. People waved U.S. flags and some of them held upside down to signal distress. In Philadelphia, thousands filled the grass at Independence National Historical Park, chanting "No Kings" and referencing revolutionary history while decrying President Donald Trump and his administration's actions in the past 3 months. The Philadelphia gathering was one of hundreds planned nationwide, led by the 50-51 movement, a grassroots network of organizers whose name stands for 50 protests in 50 states, one movement. Philadelphia's rally leaned heavily into the city's lore and history. A person dressed in a gritty suit held up a QR code with information on speakers' names, and the Positive Movement drumline accompanied rally-goers when they marched several blocks around Old City. With Independence Hall as backdrop, several attendees came in colonial attire as speakers drew parallels to the Founding Fathers' fight against the British monarchy and what many people described as the lawlessness of the Trump administration. Several protesters told WHYY News they are outraged over the administration's deportation of Kilmar Abrego Garcia to El Salvador, where the legal U.S. resident remains. Trump continues to defy the U.S. Supreme Court ruling mandating Abreu Garcia's return to his Maryland home. Kim Jordan, age 45, of Fishtown, said it is terrifying that the administration is, quote, just kidnapping and trafficking people and ignoring the courts, doing away with due process and the rule of law, and not paying attention to their oath of office to uphold and defend the Constitution. The regime marches on. Be sure to download the Live 365 app to take PEP Radio with you wherever you go. That's the news at this hour. Now back to more music on PEP Radio.